we are ready. Ready to do this?
Let's do this. Okay.
Yeah. Just like we're ready to ball out on AEW's All Out. How you feeling after that?
That's pretty. Oh, I'm bringing music down. Shit. Okay, here we go.
Bring it down. You know what it is? It's this delicious coffee you made.
Oh, yeah.
I got to do a Pulp Fiction quote. It's like, God damn, Jimmy. I just want to settle for a regular cup of coffee. You brought up this gourmet shit. Are we celebrating because that was one of the best pay-per-views we've seen in a long, long time?
Man, I can't remember ever seeing a better pay-per-view than that.
It's been a long time.
AEW's working hard for that $50, man.
Yeah. Oh, and what a bargain.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it. I mean, there's so many big moments. We're going to try to cover it all in the next hour.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the TLDR. I mean, right out of the, I mean, you got spoilers. We're doing all spoilers here, right? We know what's going on.
No, they saw it. Everybody saw it.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it, go buy it and watch it now and then come back, watch the recording of this.
Literally, even if we told you everything that just happened, you're still going to want to go buy it. Because, I mean, you got Ruby Soho, formerly known as Ruby Riott.
Yeah.
You got Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan. And you got Adam Cole, baby, still known as Adam Cole, baby, all in one pay-per-view. Not to mention the whole reason you threw down $50 was for CM Punk.
Yeah.
This was my friend Brian. Shout out to Brian if you're out there. I was just like, this is one of the best pay-per-views I've already seen, and I haven't even seen the CM Punk match yet.
I know.
That was incredible.
Just amazing. What an amazing 4 hours of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're back to calling it professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, if you guys are like us and you really start like digging in deep afterwards, if you start going into YouTube, you probably watch the media scrums. You probably watch the post once the camera stopped and Brian addressed the crowd. He really just that was one of his big points. He's like, I am a professional wrestler, and I get to say him, and I came here to wrestle.
Can I just say, didn't Daniel Bryan just seem like a badass in AEW? I feel like I know, like we'll get to that eventually, but watching the media scrum this morning, it was like he seemed like a legitimate threat. He looked like a mini Brock Lesnar there for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, what is it with everyone who's going with the Viking bun on top? Because it's not even a man bun. These are just like straight up like ponytails.
I was thinking
almost.
it's like an onion top kind of thing.
Onion. We're gonna call that the onion top. That's where we're gonna go. So, but yeah, let's go down match by match. But first, just thank you, Tony Khan, because cock-a-doodle doo to that guy, right? Because he's a pretty animated person, but man, he just like formerly known as Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona. It's like sometimes you have to give the fans what they want.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did last night. They gave the fans everything they wanted and more. This is a shout out to old UHF, Michael Richards. Just like you want a drink, here comes the fire hose.
I mean, what an amazing idea. Instead of taking all the things that could have been stretched out over months of reveals, just give it all to you at once.
Yeah.
Here's all the toys.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit. I mean, I do have some opinions on that, but let's do it match by match.
All right.
Let's start with the pre-show match, which was a great match. I mean, you had the Best Friends and Jurassic Express versus the Hardy Family Office. Now, going down the Best Friends, you have Orange Cassidy. He's a made guy.
Yeah.
He's already a made guy. Jungle Boy is a made guy, and which makes Jurassic Express a made team.
Yeah.
And then you have the Best Friends. These are all homegrown talent that are over. Marco Stunt's uber over. And then you got Matt Hardy going out there with his office, and you got Private Party, which we like to call Hardy Party here. And then you got the Hybrid 2, TH2, Angelico, and Jack Evans. But shout out to these two Lucha Underground stars that are still going, man.
I know. I didn't think we'd see Jack Evans again.
No, you didn't think when they were part of they were the other underground with Johnny Mundo,
right?
John Morrison. But these are so. I mean, it was a great match. But we had another return, right? Another return. We got the Butcher back. So, what do you think of this match?
I thought it was good. I liked it overall. Entertaining, great start to the show. Didn't it feel though a little bit at the finish like they were alluding to something? It felt stretched out. It's like they had the ring full of all the good guys at once, and then they had all the bad guys, standing outside.
It did feel like something was going to happen, and I think that was basically the run-in because we've seen the Blade and Bunny, but we haven't seen the Butcher in a while.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know if they were setting up for that, and not to mention I think they were clearing out because the hardest part of this was just like you have two uber over guys like Orange Cassidy, who's still way over, and Jungle Boy, who's way over.
Yeah.
And they're on the same team, so it's like, what music do we play? I think they had to find a way to, give each other that ring balance that they each were going to feel like the fans got to experience both of them live, because we've experienced it, just like having them live. Those are sing-alongs that you want the crowd to participate in. So I think they were just clearing just to make sure everybody had space, because not even including, there was 10 guys out there.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Hats off to Matt Hardy, because he's trying to shake. I don't know if he's trying to give it a break or it's just like, but the delete chants are still there.
Yeah. That's there whenever they decide to bring that back, but there's just so much stuff going on. And yeah, shout out to him. I mean, he's raising up this group. I think a lot of guys, the whole Hardy party, he's elevating those guys, giving them the rub. I like it.
Yeah, I do like it. And I don't know which private party guy's doing it. It might be both. I don't know if it's Quinn or Cassidy, but one of them has this like really high pitched scream.
Oh, it's one of the private party guys,
right?
Yeah.
That just makes me pop every time when they just let out that scream, and it's just like that's cool live, but they actually pick it up on the pay-per-view. But it looks like it looks like the baby faces prevailed with the submission, right? Jungle Boy got his snare, the jungle snare, so he actually got the tap out. So, but I mean, thumbs up on that match.
Yeah,
Hands
it was
down.
great pre-show match.
I think it was really smart. I mean, I think there might be some people that were more like, do we take these guys that are basically on the verge of being main eventers? Because there's always that stigma of just like, oh, I'm only in the pre-show, but like you have this huge group of stars that are in the pre-show that are watching on YouTube or in Twitch. They're watching on all these streams that you're trying to get them to pay the money, right? And it's just like, that's a lot of star power. So I don't know. This felt like their WrestleMania, and it was really hard to get all the stars in. But I'm okay with getting them, like luring these people in, using these stars.
Yeah.
So definitely thumbs up for that match, and that was before the pay-per-view even started.
Just a pre-show.
Yeah.
I remember thinking at that point, I was I was so excited by that pre-show match, I forgot the pay-per-view hadn't started. Had to switch channels, I was like, wait, this is not the channel.
You had the old app switcheroo there.
Yeah.
So, and then they opened up the curtain jerk. Was actually Miro versus the Mad King, Eddie Kingston, and I was just like, I was really, really looking forward to this match because I'm a big fan. I'm a big Eddie Kingston guy. As a former pro wrestler myself, if you hear his story, it's like you listen to his podcast. I mean, dude, he was selling his gear to basically make his mortgage.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
I've never heard his podcast. What's his podcast called?
Oh no, he was actually a guest on a podcast.
Oh, he was guest on a podcast. Yeah.
So he was. I think it was basically he was doing media for this show.
Right.
But he was on the verge of leaving the business, which Samoa Joe had a very similar story.
Yeah.
It's like, if I don't get a break, I'm gonna have to leave. And he was selling his gear.
Yeah.
And he came out, and it was actually a Hail Mary call to Cody to get on there, and the rest is history. He's one of their main guys.
Wow.
And he's that old school feel, right?
He's old school. He doesn't have much of a wrestling physique, but he's got a big chin, and he's got a New York accent.
Yeah, he's got the big...
And he's just out there doing it in his gear.
Yeah,
I love his gear.
His gear is very homemade feel, but it's good. I mean, he feels like a street. I love when he comes out with the cross, and I like that. And it was a perfect match for Miro, because new Miro. We don't have Twitch. Shout out to Twitch for letting us stream here. We don't have Twitch Miro anymore. We have the Redeemer. Yeah, so he definitely has some religious, spiritual...
I like that he's leaning into that. That's really cool. That would never happen to WWE, but they're letting him do it.
No, they are, and it's just like he's...
I can see him going even further with that, with the Redeemer thing. Maybe he'll start coming out in a robe or something like that.
And I thought, and that made it a good match. So you basically have this guy, Eddie Kingston, who kind of has that... that kind of like spiritual vibe going on as well. Street spiritual, if you will. He's a street... Oh, I don't want to say street prophet, but you know where I'm getting at here. So he had that. And I knew these guys were going to hit each other hard. And they were. Yeah. I mean, did you see Miro's chest?
I know, right? He was... the slaps. He had like purple fingerprints on him.
Oh, man. Yeah. He was like really, really just like lighting him up. I mean, and I mean, it looked like that raw chop meat afterwards. So
Oh, yeah.
they were hitting each other hard. You know, there's that little bit of that, you know, raw fan in me that just wanted Eddie to win.
Yeah.
But then there's also that part, like when you've been in the business, you kind of understand somewhat where they're going with it. And just like, it may still be too soon for Miro to lose that belt.
Yeah. I guess so. I think he's close to the point where he doesn't need that belt anymore.
Yeah.
I think maybe as his gimmick is developing, he's going to get there. And then if he eventually gets Lana in there with him.
Oh, yeah.
Or I guess CJ Perry now.
CJ, yeah.
If she eventually is in there and he has a valet again, he's got his Redeemer gimmick fully developed. Well, he doesn't need that belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to need it. But they waited long enough. They can probably stretch this feud out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But to me, like, there's a lot of... This is a tough... Because this is a great belt. You know, and Cody did a great job getting it over. But here's the thing. It's just like, you want to... I feel like they're homegrown talent. And we'll get into that because there's a lot of new faces coming in. But there's still a lot of homegrown talent that are way over that would be the belt to put them on. And they already did it with Darby.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like Jungle Boy is in there. And I'd put Eddie Kingston in there as well. And I'd put MJF in there as three people that would be great to have that belt.
Yeah.
Probably the heel more so because the longer the heel holds the belt, the more it's going to mean something, right? Mm-hmm. So by taking them away. So I'd like to see them stretch this feud because I think they can do a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the dirty finish we got there definitely, I think, demands a rematch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, thumbs up to that match as well. And, you know, spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of thumbs up today because there really wasn't any, if anything, like what would be the number one thing that you'd say in this pay-per-view that you would say, it was almost too good. It was almost too much. And we'll get into that in the last match. It was almost too much at once. So I understood, but there's going to be a lot of thumbs up here. But anyway, Miro took the fall. I'm sorry, Eddie took the fall. Miro went over. Then we had Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima.
And here was one that I think probably if you're a novice, pro wrestling viewer, you don't really know what this is.
Right.
Yeah. So, what's the significance of this match?
I mean, he was because he's this. So you're talking about somebody who's been in New Japan Wrestling, and he's been in pro wrestling. I mean, he trained when I trained him, and I was like, damn. Yeah. It's just like this. We were talking about like an over 30-year vet that's coming over from New Japan, and it's giving it that special feel where Eric Bischoff kind of capitalized on this. Like, we're going to start bringing in people from AAA. We're going to start bringing people in from New Japan just to give you that. As we're going to say this a lot, Tony Khan is the forbidden door. He's the forbidden door, and he's making these deals that the New York office would never make in a million years. So having him come in there for that New Japan, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. We're talking about Kojima. I believe he's 50. And he's out there with Moxley, throwing blows. Yeah. I mean, throwing hard blows, too, because Moxley, I think you get the feel that Moxley's about to turn heel. I'm getting that feel.
I'm getting that, too. Yeah. I think he's slowly veering in that direction. I mean, when he came out with the GCW jersey on.
Yeah.
That's a total heel move.
Yeah, I feel like it. It's just like, now I think they're going to wait to get him. He's going to get a huge pop Wednesday on Dynamite when they're in Cincinnati. Yeah. He's going to get that hometown pop. So shout out for whoever is booking their buildings because they're booking it, to lean into the hometown to get those pop. Whether you're in Pittsburgh or you're in Chicago, you're in Punkland, and now you're about to be in Moxleyville.
I think that's Tony Khan booking the buildings. I heard him make a joke about that at the media scrum, at one of the media scrums. Yeah,
but it was a great match. It was a solid match. Like you said, if you were not familiar, you had a little bit, I can't think of his name right now, the other guy from New Japan. I mean, he's another New Japan legend. Yeah. And I kind of fell off on New Japan, so I'm a little bit lost on. I can't think of his name. I don't know if you want to pull it up there, but it was a big deal, and he definitely did the. Moxley sold it like, holy crap! Like, this is a really big deal. That first we had, Minoru
Suzuki.
Yes, because so Kojima came out, and then Suzuki came out, and I think they're really setting up for, he's really leaning into this cross promotion rivalries, right? So to have Suzuki came out and man, he really sold it, and they had the face off. So even you knew it was suited for the fans that are already well versed. But even the live crowd knew that this was something special that was going on.
Yeah.
But he got a great pop, and he's another one that he's another wily veteran, and it's just like
and it's just crazy, Jon Moxley, what he's doing right now. He's got the GCW title, which where the hell GCW out of nowhere is having the year of. I don't what an amazing run for them in 2021.
And I felt really, for a Game Changer, I felt bad because Moxley just got their belt. And there's a big, follow along on our Twitter, you can see that was a big deal that he came out as a druid and took that belt from Matt Cardona. And I feel like last week they had Cardona, 2 weeks ago when the Punk debut, there was a big deal that he kind of came out dressed as ECW Vince McMahon. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that stuff's not syncing up as far as like time-wise to align with letting people appreciate it. But yeah, Moxley taking that belt and coming out with the GCW sweatshirt on. Mm-hmm. He is representing him again. Tony Khan, the Forbidden Door.
Yeah. But again, I think that's a total heel move to come out in the jersey of another promotion. To the pay-per-view. I think they're slowly turning him heel. I think you're right. They're going to take their time with it, in my opinion, because really, I think Jon Moxley's going to have a little bit of a back seat for a while.
Yeah.
He just had the kid, right? So I like his new kind of like angry dad gimmick he's got going on.
Angry hockey dad.
Angry hockey dad. He's sort of embraced it. He's embraced that he's losing his hair. He's embraced, whatever. He's like thickened up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they'll take their time turning him heel. He might turn heel in Japan and then come back, a full heel.
Yeah. Sorry, I hit the mic there.
Oh, no problem.
So all thumbs up again. It was Moxley went over in that match. Next up, we had the second title match. We had the AEW Women's World Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD with DMD with Jamie Hayter and Rebel Not Reba versus Chris Statlander with the Best Friends, who came out kind of dressed up in these jumpsuits.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the Best Friends jumpsuits.
Yeah, was that like an Area 51 thing that they do it? But
what happened to the other best friend?
Oh, he's hurt.
Oh, he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. Okay. Not I'm not thinking of
not Chuck Taylor. The other one.
He's the other. Trent.
Haven't seen him in a while.
Trent doesn't have a last name, Trent.
Yeah,
but he had some spinal surgery on his back. So he was out. That's why he wasn't in that. He wasn't in the first match. But he looks like he's been replaced by Wheeler Yuta. Mm-hmm. Who's kind of like, I don't know if he's supposed to be their young boy or whatever. So he's part of the Best Friends.
I like Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, he's good, man. Him. Yeah, and I like that. Jumping back to that, they had to give the fans what they want because they had a big run in at the end, right? And they had the big Best Friends hug, right? And they did that all in the ring, except you had Dark Order, you had a big whole crew in there.
But that was what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they got all the good guys together in a group.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on there? I feel like they're setting up like. I don't know, because I heard there's going to be some changes, right? Dark is changing.
Yeah.
They're moving Dark to a studio.
Oh, really?
They're moving Dark to a studio.
Oh, that's a great idea. Now we're talking old, and NWA Power's been doing that, right?
So I guess some of the guys are not going to be on the road anymore. So they're going to have a cast of characters for Dark. I don't know who they are exactly. They said they're going to treat Dark a little more, because they're still going to have Dark and Dark Elevation, but Dark, the original Dark will be a studio show.
I love it, dude. Yeah. I've wrestled in a studio, man. It's so intimate, and it's stiff. It's stiff. You have to be a little bit smoother. You're not calling spots in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're calling spots, the person in the third row is going to say, "He said tackle, step over, get it again." So I mean, you're going to have to be really smooth, and it's just going to make you better.
Yeah,
it's going to make you better.
It's amazing how AEW is slowly turned into. What is it? 5 hours a week now of wrestling?
Yeah.
From the original 2-hour show. And it's not, we're not seeing any repeat matches.
No, and it's not, and we're not feeling that yet, right?
No.
And trust me, I mean, we feel it. And Ruby Soho in the scrum, she called it out. It's just like, talking about how important AEW is in the women's revolution. It's just like, you're seeing different women every week. You're not getting the same women over and over again. So you're not going to get that burnout. Yeah,
and I've never heard anyone gush about starting a new wrestling promotion as much as she did. Like she was it's a dream come true. It's like everything I've ever imagined. I couldn't believe how much they accepted me, because she was saying she'd never heard anyone chant her name. and they were chanting her name before
it even came out, right? Yeah, that was incredible.
She was not announced, but Tony Khan's playing it right with this, just like, I don't know, maybe he's got a leaker. He's got some hidden folks on Twitter that are putting stuff out there.
Yeah, I hope so.
But people know what's coming, and they're ready for it, and he gives it to them, and it's...
Yeah, she had great vignettes, and we'll get into the vignettes on her stuff. But he had great vignettes, and they did this with Moxley. I feel like they definitely blazed the path. But we'll go over that, because she's Beetlejuice suit and all. She's incredible now. Like, I'm such a mark for her. And before I just thought it was solid, and I loved her group. Yeah, but man, and like now, oh man, now it feels real. Now you're just like, she's never held a belt, and she wants her and. Dude, yeah, we'll get into her, but not into, you know what I mean. So Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander, the Alien. Great setup for this. I just loved how she, Britt Baker, probably one of the best in the entire wrestling industry right now, men or women. Right? I would put her at the top. Just like, this is a whole crock of shit, this whole Alien thing, and what a great match. I mean, they were beating the crap out of each other, man.
I mean, Chris Statlander is powerful.
Yeah,
she's got to be. I imagine that. I don't know if I've ever heard that she tried to go to WWE or didn't go, but she seems like somebody they would love.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard her speak though. Have you ever heard her speak?
No.
So, because have you noticed that her and Orange Cassidy are sort of coming together now, forming an alliance? Because he was out there for the match, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. No, he was out there. He got fired up, and for once he actually started getting a little bit more animated. Yeah,
there are two of them that don't really speak, and they're sort of like coming together. It's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. And shout out to the AEW TikTok about Orange Cassidy's tips of the week.
Yeah, you showed me those. Those are awesome.
Get some sleep.
Yeah,
that's
brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth.
Okay. Tip of the week.
Yeah, but that was great. But yeah, this is the women. I feel like they heard their early criticisms that the women's division didn't feel as special. Yeah. And now I feel like it's up and to the right fast. They did 100% did the right thing by putting it on Britt. Yeah. And it's hard because theoretically she is a heel, but she's so over, and it's tough. But you want her to be a heel because you want, when somebody actually takes that belt for her, you want it to be special when it happens. Yeah, and I've
said this 100 times. That women's WWE Championship belt is so valuable. Yeah, they've elevated it so well since it's been out there.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I feel like Chris Statlander, she's already getting better. Yeah, I think, and we'll get into this when we get into the Casino Battle Royal. I want these women to really lean a little bit more into their gimmick. Yeah, lean a little bit more into, so we can kind of feel who you are. Our friend of the show, Christy James, is just like, she has the Brazilian, because that's who she is, right? She's the Brazilian dancer. Right. All right, if you're an alien, I want you to lean into it a little bit. I want your Instagram feed to send me some, when Mars is in retrograde, kind of stuff. I really lean into that, because we already know they can wrestle, but this was always my argument that I had with Dolph Ziggler of why, he definitely got screwed by The Office. There's no doubt about that. But he never really leaned into being a show off. Mr. Perfect showed you how perfect he was. Yeah. By throwing himself passes and sinking billiard balls and stuff like that. So I want to see some of these other women, really stand out by leaning a little bit more into their gimmick. Right. But still, a thumbs up to this match. I mean, this is, again, just
I think that's one of the reasons Britt got over so much, because she has that great gimmick. Yeah. And then they developed it so well, because when she originally came out, she was kind of lame, just like she's actually a dentist. She's a shoot dentist, right? Yeah. And then she was doing professional wrestling, but when they turned her heel, something just clicked.
Oh, yeah. 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 And I was a fan of the cinematic match in the dentist's office. I think it just worked. It's a heel faction, and it's just but she's still just so over, and she's just so good. And her, the lights out match with Thunder Rosa, another, she's our number one girl, hands down, here in Texas. Thunder Rosa, I mean, she really just leaned into heel dentist, Now, Kane, now hear me out. Glenn Jacobs, I know you're a mayor and you're busy, but I saw April Brooks CM Punk's wife, tweet out, it's just like, because she saw Daniel. Obviously, she has a history of angles with Daniel, and she's like, now if Kane shows up, I'm really gonna flip.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see Kane in AEW. I want to see a version of Isaac Yankem DDS in AEW coming out there for Britt.
Right.
But I don't know if he will. He's just like, he's already pretty much retired, but it would be cool to do that. But anyway, Britt went over clean with her finish. She had the lockjaw.
Yeah.
She had the cool NWO Wolfpack blood drip from her glove, though, right? So that was cool. So yeah, great thumbs up on that match.
Good match.
Yeah, good solid match. And then next up, it's not the CM Punk match, but this turned up to be the match of the night, probably the match of the year. I think you're gonna get that when you had the Lucha Bros
entrance of the year. I would say nominee whenever they put those ballots out, because that was awesome.
Yeah, and we were talking about that, right? It's just like, they have the same looking set, so it's always a danger that what's going to make this show feel special, that I just paid $50 rather than watching it on free TV. And it's stuff like this. The production value of just having them come out and sing it, and it's just like, how can you not get fired up when they had the robe, they had the priest robes, but they're wearing the penta, the hoods, the same wearing the Phoenix hoods in the dance. How can you not get fired up?
Yeah.
And then they had the Native American gear, but then they had the letter jazz. Like, it was just entrance of the year, hands down.
Yeah, and they had the I'd been listening to their new theme song lately because I really dig it, and then when they brought out the actual performer, just great.
Yeah, you know what we need to do? We need to get on our Spotify and share out a list.
I'm into that.
But yeah, against the Booker brothers, right? I mean, they got the pencil, but
They have developed into just probably the ultimate tag team heels.
Oh yeah.
Which is it Matt Jackson? Did you see what he did to his beard? It's a very, very Hulk Hogan-esque thing he did. He sort of like blonded out a goatee or something like that.
Yeah. No, dude, they didn't even have an official heel turn, right? I don't feel like they did they?
I feel like they always had heel tendencies ever since the beginning. Yeah. And you saw when AEW started, even if they were baby faces, they worked heels. They worked heel in matches.
Yeah.
So they've always, I think that was always where they were going to go, but they have become such a douchey manifestation of the ultimate heel team.
Yeah, and I think all the Elite are doing that, right? They're kind of leaning into it. And then props, because, well, I mean, I think the Bucks had they already kind of had the vibe when they got out. I feel like Kenny Omega was struggling a little bit as a baby face.
Yeah.
Where when he turned into the cleaner, and then he got Don Callis, and he just, because he's not the greatest on the mic by any stretch, but sometimes that actually adds to the charm, that like when he says all this weird shit on the mic, they're like, what? Yeah. But it's a heel, so it doesn't even matter. So, and I feel like the Young Bucks kind of just leaned into that, and and they're great heels.
Yeah.
But and obviously the work rate, I mean, you can talk about it. I mean, you can talk about it till the cows come home. Those guys can work. They can work. They've been doing that probably before they even got in the business. They were in their backyard doing that, and it shows.
Them and Lucha Bros together.
Oh my God!
I that match was amazing, and it had so many false finishes where I was cringing. I'm just like, okay, no, end it here. Yeah. Don't take it too far. Don't push it. Don't ruin it.
Right.
This is great. And then the story, just amazing. The stuff they did when they pulled out the Air Jordan with the bootleg Air Jordan full of thumbtacks
on it.
Yeah, and they were gonna take out Ray Phoenix and Pentagons on his knees. No, don't hurt my brother.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was awesome.
They told a great story, and look there, and this is a story that goes way back, right, from their tag match that they had before.
Yeah.
Right, that they are just like they've already had like these 5-star matches. What was it was a stipulation match they had before, right? Because now it's the best. This was the cage match, but I feel like they had another stipulation match before. But again, they just steal the show.
It's possible. I mean, Lucha Bros have been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
They're part of the fabric of AEW, and I'm really glad that they stuck around, that they've become a permanent part of it.
Absolutely, man.
Pentagon was always my favorite back in the Lucha Underground days.
Oh, yeah.
So it's amazing. And then we saw Pentagon's babies. Come on, man.
He got blood all over his
He had blood face. Out of, he was covered in blood. His daughters were crying. Wow.
Oh, it was great, man. Yeah, it really did. It was great that they paid off. And this is what I want. I'm cool. And I personally only want to see one more hire. I'm cool with seeing, Cult of Wyndham come in. And I don't know if I want to see anybody else necessarily come from WWE. Unless WWE keeps throwing out these like main event talents, then maybe you do have to take it. But I want to see the originals continue to get over.
Yeah.
And this was their way of doing that, giving it to the Lucha Bros. Again, yeah, we've been huge fans. I mean, when we saw Phoenix here in Austin, when he did that dive off the balcony, we've sat in that balcony. Yeah. We know how high that was, and he literally like
jumped over us,
over our heads. And it was just like, that was a great show. This is what's great about AEW is just like with the Forbidden Door. I mean, it's just like you got the best of Lucha Underground, you got the best of Impact, you're getting the best of AAA, you're getting the best of New Japan. Vince killed the territories in a way. This is the revenge of the territories.
Yeah.
And he's leaning into that. So these guys still feel like Lucha Underground when they're in there. And
it's the Wrestleverse uniting against
it is the Wrestleverse.
Thanos, yes. Vince, Thanos McMahon. You know what I mean? They've grabbed the best from everywhere.
Yeah.
And it just keeps building. It's crazy the momentum that's going here. And again, I posted it on Twitter. I was like, I think Vince is probably right now like eating his feelings because like that was friggin' I can't. Who remembers SummerSlam?
Oh yeah,
that just happened. Remember we had Cena and Roman Reigns, and we had Becky Lynch come back. Remember that?
Yeah, barely. Right. It's just like, and that's and again, we're fans of all pro wrestling here, and even the sports entertainment one. We're fans of it, so it's just like we want it to be as we want to have this feeling, the day after feeling where you feel like we really watched something special and we're not dissecting, figuring out what went wrong. We're celebrating what went right.
Yeah, and just like sidebar, I don't know did you see Roman Reigns and Finn Balor on Smackdown on Friday?
No, I have a DVR.
Awesome match, and they teased the return of the
demon. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which I never even understood why they got rid of that. Like, just like he has special matches, that's when he calls his demon.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't you lean into
it?
That?
It just made me think of how they've got so many tools in the shed there. They can just reach back and say, "Oh, we've got Finn Balor's original entrance. Let's just put this out." It's just there. It's like Snyder Cut when they threw away all that footage. It just exists, and they can just do it whenever they want.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with the, they have a show at the Garden this Friday. That's going to be the lead-in for Rampage. So let's see what they do with that. But back to the cage match. I don't know about you, but there are moments that like I literally like take your breath away. And it was when Phoenix did that cage walk, and my heart did like, oh, I don't.
When he sort of went right from one chain to the other, he took a few steps right at the top of the cage.
Oh my god, that like he just does it so flawlessly. But there's still that part of me is just like, because that was a high cage, man. That was not a normal. Like usually you'll have some of the cage like when you stand at the top, and it's kind of at the top of a lot of the guys' heads. Where that one was like, they could have stood on someone's shoulders, and I feel like it went way up. And I haven't felt that since Braun went to the top of that cage that time. And I was like, oh, because when that falls, it's going to be an ugly fall.
Yeah.
But he did that, man, and it was a beautiful dive. It was a beautiful dive. So hats off. And
so many amazing spots of that. It just kept going. They just didn't run out of stuff to do. That friggin' super kick, the super kick showdown where they were super kicking. It was like Reservoir Dogs, but they were super kicking each other.
Yeah. No, it was great, and that one, and then like you said, the tack in the bootleg Jordan, and then when he held that up, and they added some drama to the match, and they added some blood, and they added some mask ripping, which we know in lucha that's a big deal, and they're definitely setting up for talking in the scrum. The two things that came out of that was Phoenix was just like saying, and Penta said it too. It's like, I'm not. He's literally cero miedo in real life because he's like, I don't know. When I put this mask on, I just feel like a superhero and I feel like I can do everything. And I don't really think about it because one of the media, which I think was a child that they let in there asking questions.
There was a few children asking questions.
Yeah, and that was awesome. Shout out for doing that. But he was just like, I don't know. I just feel like a superhero when we do this. And I don't really even think about that. And you can tell he didn't think about it because I can tell you when you're standing on the top rope, if you think about it, you're already going to probably get hurt.
Yeah,
you can't think about it too much.
I like Penta so much. He's been my favorite for a long time, and I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like his moveset is very unique.
Yes.
I feel like he's got his own. You don't see other people do some of the things he does. And I don't know what you call this move, but there's a move where he's throwing folks into the ropes and they're coming back, and he sort of like hooks them with one arm and then spins around and tosses them with the other.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know this move? I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what he calls his moves.
Yeah, I've never. Well, I know one is called the Made in Japan, right?
Yes,
which is awesome. But anyway, like I've never seen anyone else do that move, and he does it so well. He's great.
The other thing that came out of the scrum, speaking of Penta, was that they're talking about setting up if Tony Khan's okay with it having a mask versus hair match with the Bucks. And dude, that right there, you just sold a pay-per-view. Like if you know anything about like a mask versus hair in anything in Mexico,
is that a common thing?
Oh yeah, and that's a big deal. That's like legit for a shoot. If you're gonna lose your mask, you're going to get a huge payday. Yeah. You're going to get a huge payday because you're losing a piece of your identity, and you kind of have to be ready to lose that. Tugboat, who trained me, he wrestled in Mexico as Ciclope, and he actually got, he talked about when he had his mask versus mask match and he lost his hood, he got a big payoff. So that's going to be a big deal because I feel like at the same time how the importance of the masks, I feel like the importance of the Bucks not getting their hair cut. Yeah. That's kind of a little bit of their identity, right?
Yeah. Well, one of them's kind of balding, so I don't know. Yeah, so maybe he's going to embrace that. That's the gimmick.
Are they going to shave their heads? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm already in, and if they do that, they've already stole the show. What's the deal with Brandon Cutler? Like, is he their like videographer that they kind of gave?
I don't know. Gimmick? Is he filming stuff for Being the Elite?
I feel like he is, right?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like he's their videographer, but I love he has the what's up with that Jason Sudeikis, Run DMC jumpsuit on. That
he's always got the hand sanitizer he's spraying at them.
Is it spray or is it Axe body spray?
I thought it was sanitizer.
It might be sanitizer too, but shout out to them, man. That was a great match. So obviously, again, we're going to just say everything's a thumbs up match for this one, except maybe the Paul White. We'll get into that, though. It's still not a thumbs down. Next up, we had the first big surprise of the night. We had the 21 women casino battle royale, which I don't 100% still understand what the rules of this match are. Like, I know they want to. It still just feels like, I guess it is still a little bit of a surprise where, like, the Rumble, when you're doing the countdown, you have one person coming out, where I guess when it's the suit of the cards, you're going to have 5 people come out.
I kind of like it, although it doesn't really make sense. And I tell you, it doesn't make sense for the production team because they don't know how to shoot it.
Yeah. That's what I felt.
Yeah. I think they need to figure something out. I was just like, hey, look what we're doing. Picture in picture. Doesn't that work? I mean, just like have the run in the picture in picture and then, keep the match going on screen, I think is the way to go, or vice versa. But they seem like they were missing a lot of people's entrances.
Yeah. And it does. And because they have, if somebody is speeding down to do a spot, they want to catch the spot, but then they're missing the entrance. But part of that whole special feel is the entrance of getting that pop.
Yeah. So I think they need to figure out how to film that. I do like 5 people coming in at once because it immediately just it just adds so much to the all out Rumble at once rather than you have one person going on. I don't know, it feels slower, it feels longer. I do like that.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it.
They gotta figure it. And I love the Joker gimmick. I think that's great.
No, that's perfect having that Joker come out. So you had the clubs, you had Sheeta come out, Sky Blue, local girl made well from Chicago come out there.
Did you see that moment on Dark where she got she got put on the battle royale? Great.
That's what I mean. That was awesome. So they told a story there. Sakura was in there. The bunny. I don't even know how to say the zombie girl's name. Abaddon. So the diamonds were Anna Jay, Kira Hogan, Killing King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. The Hearts were our favorite. Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Rio, who made a comeback and got a nice pop.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter and Big Swole. Swole's still over. She was getting some chance. And then the Spades, you had Ty Conti, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, future world champ, and then Rebel Not Reba. And then we had the Joker that came out, which was Ruby, which turned out to be a Ruby Silva monster pop. Great pop there. So that was our big surprise for that match. So what did you think of this match overall?
Overall, I thought it was good. I thought it started a little shaky, but I think that was part of having to follow the Lucha Brothers, winning the belts. I dug it. I like the story. I didn't 100% love the finish. I did. I thought Ruby Soho could be the one to go over, but I kind of was.
Oh yeah, we were pulling for Thunder.
It would look like it was set up for her. I thought maybe her Ty Conti would get it, but I thought it was just set up for Thunder perfectly. But goddamn, she's a pro.
Yeah,
she just looks like. I mean, coming toe to toe with someone who's been in WWE like that, and she just looks like a star.
Oh,
just like and she works like a star. She's amazing.
Yeah, no, she's incredible. I really did think. And they told a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and I think it could have went either, like that finish could have worked in the other direction too. And I was torn, and I was leaning towards, obviously I want Thunder because I feel like they can't put too much distance between the lights out match and that inevitable rematch with Britt and Thunder because that's going to be a big deal. And now as you start getting more people that are elevating their game and anybody coming from the outside, you run the risk. So it's like, well, now you have to have Ruby Soho face, Britt Baker because that's part of the stipulation. But now what do you do with Thunder? Because she's a star. And that means, and it showed that she was going toe to toe with Ruby. And I feel like she needs a big angle now. Like she can't just go out there and keep going over. I feel like
a lot of these, a lot of them need angles. I think that's what's missing. That's one thing they're lacking is significant storylines. We've talked about them doing a TNT belt for the women. I think that's a great idea, or just something. The women's tag teams. Maybe they can get that going, but they need something to help build some stories.
Would you prefer to see a TNT women's title, or do you want to see a women's tag title?
I think a TNT title would be good.
Yeah,
I'd like to get that on TV and have them defending it every week.
Yeah, I want to and because you need it, and they just need something to be fighting for, and they need the personal issues, pal.
Yeah,
we talked about it here all the time, and I think Thunder needs that because she's a star, and she needs I want to have a run with that belt. She would be on the short list of somebody who should have that belt, but now it's kind of setting up what Britt needs to have that belt a little bit longer, but now Ruby Soho told such a beautiful story as the runaway coming here that she's never held the belt. She talked about this in the scrum.
Yeah.
She's never held a belt on TV, and now she needs that. So it's like, you want to see her have the belt. So, but Britt needs to keep it a little bit longer. So, like, you just can't have these belts, even though everybody's worthy of these titles. You can't have them turn over so fast.
Yeah, no, I think Ruby coming in and feuding with Britt for a while, it builds Britt even more. It builds the belt even more because eventually it's going to be Thunder Rosa and Britt for the title again.
Yeah,
and Thunder Rosa is going over eventually.
Yeah,
she's got to be. Yeah, she's there. She's so over now. I feel like that they sort of like isolate her. It's like she's too good to with some folks, and she slays everything they put her on, and then she comes into the Rumble and does the job for Ruby. It's fucking and she was doing like Kofi Kingston stuff, you know what I mean? Like just hanging off the just. I don't think I've ever seen her in a battle royale, but she excelled. No. She excelled at it.
No, she did fantastic, and you're right. She got a huge pop. She was way over. You can tell she was actually for a shoot. She was hyped because she did the Warrior run to the ring, and did, like again production problems because they couldn't even catch her. She ran by so fast.
Yeah,
she was so fired up.
Picture, guys. Watch our stream for ideas.
Yeah. So, what do you feel? How do you feel about? Like I said, Swole was over. What are your feelings on Jade Cargill?
I think she's great. She's going to be a champ eventually.
Yeah.
She's got to be. She's like there as far as like monster heel in the women. I think she's it.
Yeah.
You know, I can't speak to her work yet. Like I've seen her do. She's only done a couple of short matches.
I think she's only had like a handful of matches for shoot, only like 5 matches total.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, she has the look, she has everything.
I kind of thought she might have been my candidates to go over in this match. I thought were going to be, Thunder, Ty Conti, or Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Because they'd kind of been building that up in the promos. So I felt like she might be the one. I thought it'd be cool if she came after Britt for a while, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she can definitely go over. I feel like
she looks like an action figure.
Yeah, she really does. She has everything about her is going for her. I feel like she is the one that they should start kind of giving a personal issue to, and just have somebody that just make her like somewhat. I don't think the Andre the Giant is the right comparison, but somebody who's just like, she's the specimen that can't be beat, and have some of these other women kind of use themselves to elevate to try to like do the Jeff Hardy versus the Undertaker, and just like try to use another, an angle like that to kind of get over. Right. Yeah. So I don't know, but it's still too soon for her. Here's what I was going to talk about earlier.
Wait, can you save this real quick?
Yeah.
Let's do a quick break.
Yeah.
We're doing a quick break. We've been on for an hour now. We'll do a quick break, come back in like 2 minutes. All right,
let's do it. Yeah, because we have some chat questions too.
Let's take a hey, JJ's on. Yeah, JJ, we'll be right back. Let's take a quick 2-minute break and refresh.
All right. All right. We are back.
Let's go. Should I? Boom. All right.
Yeah. So we're halfway through when we were talking about the casino battle royale. We were talking about basically the future of the women's division, and like JJ was saying, the future stacked in that division because, I mean, you got Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, basically that are now like spearheading. They would equate to the women's revolution that happened on the WWE side.
I agree.
I think Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, both of them equally elevated that whole division. And now women are going to be stepping up into that.
Yeah.
And I was going to go with this. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. And I'm a fan of all three of these women. So you have Anna Jay, right? And then you have Anna Jay. That was her return, right? Then you have Penelope Ford. And then what's the
Bunny.
The Bunny.
Yeah.
Right? So all three of them, they have a very similar look.
Yeah.
And I think all three of them need to find a way to kind of lean into more of that because I'm a huge fan of that gimmick of the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. It feels like such a, and we're huge fans of horror films here. I think they just need to lean a little bit more into that, right? And just have her be an extension of that. Because, when she went with QT, I feel like she kind of got lost. And it was the best move they can do is they brought her back. To there, kind of lean into that. I mean, they can actually almost be a gimmick by herself. Like, because I'm not sure if Penelope Ford is doing the now that the wedding is over with and the best man stuff is done. I don't really know what they're doing, but I'd love to see them as like a Rob Zombie type clique of just like the three. And the Bunny really is like psycho. We're huge fans of The Last Drive-In here, and our Darcy the Mail Girl is a big, big
AEW market.
Yeah, big.
I like the Bunny, and I like her gimmick. I think
love
she's
it.
a great heel. Have you seen her YouTube page?
No.
She does a YouTube page where she tries out different flavors of Oreo cookies. And that's pretty good. Thunder Rosa was on it not too long ago.
Oh, wow. No, yeah. And and that's what I mean. There's also that possibility of just like, let's see their real personality and that kind of bring that back. But I want to I don't know, maybe just because I'm a horror movie mark, I want to see them as like, just like have Rob, how Tom Savini came in and developed the Fiend's mask. I was just like, get Rob Zombie to come in there and consult and just like have these three women and just like make them feel like something that would be in a Rob Zombie movie.
Give the Bunny Alexa Bliss's gimmick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's do that.
Yes, right. That can definitely have that.
I think that could definitely work.
That Donnie Darko kind of vibe. So I think if you kind of leaned into that, I mean, so because they're great. They're all talent. I don't feel like they have anybody that's out there blowing spots.
Yeah.
I feel like Abaddon, she leaned into her gimmick. She fits in really well. You have the, Shida, and Sakura, they're kind of leaning into, coming from Japan, they lean into that. They got nice big pops too. And then Diamante, she's kind of, I don't know what they're doing with her now that,
she's sort of aligned herself with Nyla Rose.
Okay.
I think that's happening. And they actually do make a good team. They had a tag team match on Dark not too long ago, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, so I think they need to do that because what's her name? I think she kind of blew it there.
Ivelisse?
Yeah, she was so over in Lucha Underground, but I know they keep going back to that spot, and I'm a huge fan of her, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. I wish it wouldn't have happened because I feel like that they could have been, you could have had Nyla Rose and Diamante and Ivelisse. They could have been like a clique, and I think that could have worked really well. But kind of lean into these gimmicks, and I feel like that would help them separate because it's, obviously it's going to become a crowded division very soon. And then, but, going back, Ruby Soho, I guess it could have been a coin toss and it would have made sense both ways.
Yeah.
But I do understand, like now they just kind of capitalized on her. She was the leader of the Riot Squad. She's just been on TV. She just let go. So she was probably the female equivalent of when Jon Moxley came into AEW, that they kind of capitalized on the steam that he already had.
Yeah.
And now they have an instant, feud set up with Britt Baker.
And they can do the song, which is great.
Yes. Right? Was that a Rancid song?
Yeah, that was the Rancid song.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's referencing in her name.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently she's friends with them or somebody in the band.
Yeah, she was talking about in the scrum, and shout out to that Beetlejuice suit, man. She looked like a star.
Yeah.
Not that she didn't look like a star in WWE, but in that scrum when she came out, she felt like a star. Like I just feel like she coming by herself like that, and she just got elevated, and it's got a, we talked about how they kind of blew it, in the WWE side with the Money in the Bank, and Liv should have been the one that came in.
Yeah.
And we talked about that in before, and it's just like, and I feel like it would have done this, like what's happening now with Ruby, and and Liv gave her a shout out on Twitter, and like, you're a star. She felt like a star.
So I think what needs to happen now, that AEW did very well with the men, is we need to start seeing factions, and I think they've kind of done a little bit of that. And they aligned Ty Conti with Anna Jay and Bunny and Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
But Ruby Soho needs a squad. Who's her squad?
Yeah, Soho squad instead of the Riot squad. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously there's a lot of women in there could be repackaged and kind of doing that. There's part of me that they're probably thinking they just want to kind of have her go out there by herself at first.
Yeah.
But with Britt having Hater and Rebel Not Reba, which I don't know why I just like saying Rebel Not Reba. I know they always bill her like that, but it's just like that's your name now.
Yeah.
Having that squad come out like that, eventually the numbers game are gonna get her, and she's gonna need friends.
Yeah. Well, I think having a squad helps us build personal issues, pal.
It does.
It's just it gives us something to fight about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's got people to turn on each other and people to double cross, and so it gives us. I feel it'll give us the stories that we're lacking right now.
And and since Tony Khan has the forbidden door, right? You can recruit this squad from anywhere. I mean, you think Sting went through the forbidden door when he recruited RoboCop back in Capital Combat '89?
I mean, that is that will never be crossed again. That'll never be achieved again.
No.
You're not going to see Luke Skywalker or somebody come out on
right
AEW.
No, that would be nice though. Well, I don't know. Tony Khan listens to the show, so we'll see if he books that. All right, next match we had Chris Jericho going over on MJF with a reverse Dusty finish. What'd you feel about that?
Okay, so this one, not sure how that kind of made sense. I don't know. What am I missing? I thought it was pretty much set that it just felt like he was going to take a break. He's going to put MJF over, and that was going to be the end of the angle.
Yeah, and they could have, I thought that's what they were doing. Like when he went over, but his foot was on the rope. I figured it's like, sorry, pal.
Yeah, I thought that's where we were going to leave it. And one day he'd come back and say, well, my leg was on the rope.
My foot's on the rope.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe that would happen, or when he first, they cooled off a little bit, and when he did come back, he'd come back as the dirty yellow dog or the Midnight Rider. He'd come out with a hood, because Jericho, how creative he is, he would come out with a mask and he'd come out with a cool name.
Yeah.
And even though people would know it was him, he would do it. I thought they were going to do that. That being said, MJF did not look bad. I think he went over clean on Jericho like 3 times before that. And MJF loses no steam, but this would have definitely elevated him to another level, and he's already their top heel.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's magic on the mic. If he heard this, he would just tell us to F off, because he's like just that good of a heel.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care. Oh, sorry, hiccup. So I do see where you're saying. I did fall for the Dusty finish. Like, I really thought, okay, that was it. So I didn't know they were going to actually do the reverse finish, and then they were going to have the scramble. I think it was executed really well. I don't have any problems with how it was executed. Jericho's done so much for AEW. Like, he's a day one AEW guy. He believed in them before, and he left.
Yeah.
Kind of hot, right? Like, the list of Jericho got him over, and he found a way to stay over with taking less bumps. And he's like, I kind of want to wrestle with these guys, and he did. And he and the 5 labors of Jericho were rough, as far as like, he was taking some gnarly bumps. He took some gnarly bumps in Blood and Guts. So, but you're right. I don't know if it's TBD if this was the right call.
Yeah.
Because where does Jericho go from here?
Yeah. And where does MJF go?
Yeah.
Does this? It kind of feels like this would continue now.
I know.
Even though I thought this was going to be the blow-off match. So I don't know, because I feel like neither one of them can leave this now. It's not finished.
I know, and they called it the final match, but now it's not the final match. But the thing is, I'm not sure if the crowd wants to see them work each other again.
I know. They probably don't. It just feels like the storyline feels open-ended here.
It does. It does feel very open-ended because and AEW, to their credit, they do stick to their stipulations, right? Like Cody said, I'll never get a title match if I don't beat MJF.
Yeah.
And it happened, and that was a big shock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, MJF could have basically had another one of those moments basically in his playbook of like, not only did I stop Cody from ever getting the belt, but I stopped, I retired Jericho.
Yeah.
Because he would have let the world, I mean, he would have been letting the whole, I don't know if that's too predictable booking. I would have had MJF go over for sure. And I would have left it with the foot on the rope finish. Jericho could have left, and then he could have and he would have found, but then would people have said, no, that was a cheap way to come back. But then he had the foot on the rope thing that he always could have leaned back on.
Yeah.
But I would have liked him come back again, go old school, have a hood, come back and just like come back as, Judas.
That would have made sense to me. Because again, where does MJF go now? Does he challenge somebody else? Does somebody challenge him?
Because again,
how do they start another angle now?
I mean, I kind of want to see the TNT belt on Miro, but he can't. I don't think wrestling Miro is in his future. I don't think that's the right person to go over. You'd have to have somebody else have that belt first. Yeah, it's not going to be a tag, with Wardlow. So and is the Pinnacle broken up now?
I don't know. It seems it's a little bit in flux. One more comment I had though on that. He came out to the solo electric guitar. I think that was a bad choice.
Well, I think
it sounded bad.
And I think what they were trying to accomplish was the sing along that actually already happened, and that was probably going to be tough to even though this was the right crowd for it. Yeah, but they were already. I think they could have maybe. This could have been like the second. I don't know. I don't want to overthink that booking, but I think they should have just played the song. Yeah, I think they should have just played the song, and even if it was,
or just do the DJ thing where they duck out the lyrics or duck out the song for the parts for the audience to sing.
Yeah, yeah, they could have done that. So, but I mean, it was still a solid match. MJF still has a bright future. He needs a belt, and I don't know.
Does Jericho have a bright future? What is he going to do? I mean, I'm just saying, is he going to keep?
I don't know, because he seems like they were leaning into him being an announcer. Yeah, and
he's great on the mic.
Oh yeah, he's great on the announce. Awesome. I just I don't know. I would have been okay if he would have just been like a special guest announcer, and then when he was ready to come back. But we don't know what his future holds. Obviously, he wants to still keep going in the ring. But we got the Jericho Cruise coming up.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that's
Fozzy's doing a tour probably. So who knows?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's TBD if that was the right call.
I guess he could still take a break, and they could just explain it away.
Yeah.
Just be like he's recovering after the labors. He needs recovery time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Either way, it's whatever. That was probably no. I mean, none of the matches were my least favorite, but that that one's the one where it's kind of like I don't get this.
Well, you didn't want that, just because of the finish, right? Yeah. Like a really good movie, like we know a bad finish in a movie can ruin the whole movie. Even when the movie was good. Yeah. And then next match was the big one. This is the one where probably sold a lot of pay-per-views. Was the Punk versus Darby. Mm-hmm. First off, did you expect this match to not be the main event?
I kind of did. Because I thought, well, if you're following the rumors that there was going to be multiple appearances at by whoever, that's going to have to happen at the end. I feel like it wouldn't make sense to do a run in on Punk. Yeah. So and also I think AEW is very traditional in the sense that the belt match is the title match.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a fan for it. I am glad that the world title match went on last. Yeah. I'm glad they did that. Yeah. I think it makes sense. It makes the belt actually mean something. I feel like WWE throws in world title matches as freaking curtain jerks. Yeah. And I think, and again, for the people who weren't sure about the finish, or like JJ saying that, the crowd couldn't find the rhythm. They found the rhythm because they were singing Cult of Personality, right? Yeah. So that's turning into somewhat of a sing-along, right? Yeah. You think that's going to catch on?
They're doing it. Yeah. I heard a sing-along on that one.
Yeah, so I think it's happening. But great match. Mm-hmm. Great match, man. It's just like, and this was...
How did you feel about Punk in pants?
Punk in pants was... Yeah, it kind of threw me off a surprise,
yeah.
Yeah, because he had the... You know, he had the Chicago colors, and I don't know, it made his legs look way longer than they normally do.
And then he's got those huge boots he wears. Yeah. He's got like stormtrooper boots or something. And they looked awesome when he used to wear the trunks, but connected as one piece, he kind of looks like the bottom of his body is a transformer or something.
You know? Yeah, because when he was sitting in the media scrum that he had that out there. But in his defense, he kept saying, crap, I bet on Twitter, he's like, I better find some boots. And then like he's like, seriously, boots. Like he kept tweeting that. So, but it's just cool to see him at the top of the game. He was still in UFC fighting shape.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried about like his stamina at all. I was more curious of just like how the match was going to go. And, you know,
he looked rusty to you at all?
No, the only thing that
I thought the beginning was a little wobbly.
I think the only thing he's getting back into that rhythm of calling spots. Like when he grabbed a headlock,
you could see him pretty clear.
You saw him calling the spots, and I was just like couldn't tell if that was just something, you know, if that was rust, but it wasn't bad. I mean, you see people calling spots all the time.
Sure.
So, but I don't, as far as like ring rust, as far as like the moods and taking bumps and stuff like that, I didn't see any flubs.
Yeah.
And I feel like he called that entire match. Mm-hmm. You know, usually the veteran calls the match or the heel calls the match. I feel like he called that entire match. And I haven't listened to Jim Cornette's take on this match yet, but I think he's going to really enjoy this match because he basically took Darby Allin, who obviously knows how to work, but he made him work like an old school feeling match.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And I don't know, this stood out to me, and I guess it was fine, but you do really, when they're locking up, you do really see the size difference there.
Yeah.
That kind of stood out to me, you know?
Yeah, because they exaggerate on the weight, but like for Darby, he's getting billed at like 170, and it's like, man, then that's his exaggerated weight.
Yeah.
So it was pretty evident, but man, as far as like once the match, but think about this, Punk is usually on the other end of that.
Yeah.
Punk is usually
that's
the
true.
one that's a little bit smaller than the guys he's working.
What did you think of that? There was one moment where he did the go to sleep and knocked Darby out of the ring.
That was fantastic.
Was that supposed to? I felt like, is that supposed to happen?
I think it's just that Darby is that good of a bumper.
Yeah.
I mean, because he like. Again, then that's where I feel like there was no rust. I mean, he positioned himself perfectly to take that GTS.
And he went through the ropes.
And he went backwards through the ropes. And that felt, that was one of the spots where I kind of jumped. And then on the replay, you saw Darby was able to catch himself. But man, if he would have just fell straight back.
Yeah.
So I really dug that false finish there because it's just like, oh, he was just it was just like a fluke. I think that worked out really well.
Yeah.
And it was a little, I guess, if I had any critiques for the match, it'd be more of maybe change Darby's paint because with Punk's tattoos mixing with like the paint rubbing all over him, Punk started to look like a burn victim on the top. That it was just like that he was just like all the paint had kind of rubbed off onto him and like rubbed on his, you know, his and again, if that's a critique, then that's all I have because I was really happy with the match and I was happy with the finish. I was just unsure. This is again, that was the same thing with not sure where to go MJF. I feel like Darby needed to get over and stay over, but Punk could not lose this match.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
I agree.
because the last two times that we saw Punk on pay-per-view was in UFC.
Yeah.
And he didn't go over in those. And, he had a great showing in that second one. And that first one, he kind of had the same Brock Lesnar for that first time in UFC. Kind of not that I know how to, what it feels like in UFC, but getting that first one out of the way. So I just feel like Punk had to go over, but they had to find a way to keep Darby over. And then the rumor was that Sting told Punk after the match, they talked about in the scrum, he's like, remember we talked about this? He's like, I feel like you did for Darby what Flair did for me in that Clash of the Champions.
Oh, yeah.
That 45-minute Broadway. And we talked about this in our podcast. I feel like that's what they needed to do. And I feel like that's what they did. I mean, I don't remember what the time limit. They went almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And obviously they can't go the 45 like they did in Clash of the Champions. But I thought Darby looked great. Mm-hmm. He did a couple of spots like that. When he does that tope like through the bottom rope instead of the middle rope, for some reason, he gets so much more speed. Yeah. And he does ram, and then he did that floating, whisper in the wind off the top, and he did that to the floor. So he still got his shit in, a lot of and he got all his stuff in. But
what did you think of that moment where Darby did the coffin drop and CM Punk did the Undertaker just sit up.
Oh man, I love that because obviously that was a shout out to their WrestleMania match, and then he did the laugh. I thought that was again that played perfectly. I think Punk called this match and executed it perfectly, and I was really happy with the ending. It was a shoot when Sting came out and shook his hand. That was like unplanned shoot. That was cool. So overall, I was very happy with the match.
CM Punk put out a tweet that I thought was really cool, and all he tweeted was, "Wow, this shit is fun again."
Yeah, and you notice he had a screenshot of when he said back when he quit WWE and it said this poop isn't fun anymore.
Yeah,
so, and you can tell like he's super happy, and it's showing in his work. Like he truly, I'm sorry, I'm a Roman Reigns fan, like this version of Roman Reigns, not the other ones. And I understand why he said it because he's the champ, so he can't say. But to say Punk is not a needle mover is either you're just playing to your gimmick, and just working everybody, or you're blind because it's just like Punk felt like a superstar from beginning to end. From when he came back, and even in this match, it felt special. Like when I was watching it, I was like, I bought a pay-per-view, and this felt like a pay-per-view match. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I was completely happy with it, and you can tell he was pretty happy with it. My only question is, like, after that, and then I was like, man, I guess I was, like, cringing, waiting. It's just like, is Sting going to turn and hit Punk? Or it's just like, but don't turn Darby heel because Darby's still over. Let Darby get that standing ovation, kind of like Stone Cold did after Bret Hart wouldn't let go. But they couldn't do that this time because it wasn't a reverse. Like, so when they got up and they kind of, like, shook hands, and that was good. That was awesome. But now, what's next for both of them is the question that I have. Now that they got this one basically under their belt and out of the way, what's next? Because I don't think Punk is set up to be going for the world title yet, right?
No.
It doesn't feel like it. And it doesn't feel like he needs it.
No.
It's just like, should he get it someday? I guess that could be debated. I'm still waiting for Cody to get his run. But I feel like Bryan is more positioned to take that belt sooner than Punk.
Yeah.
Where Punk still feels like, ironically, he quit because he's just like, he was tired of the schedule. He feels like that attraction.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to be there every week. But where does he go next? Maybe, just maybe, this is what MJF needs.
I was thinking the same thing.
Is it going to be, can you imagine MJF on the stick versus CM Punk, where the mic work is just so phenomenal on both ends? Like, how does this go? I think that would be a good one for Punk. Where do you think Punk goes from here?
No, I was thinking the same thing. I think MJF and CM Punk would be great, and that's something they could stretch out over the course of a few months and build it up for a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll get them both over because again, I was just waiting for that weird heel turn, and I don't think it happened. JJ said that Sting looked like a disappointed papa.
And he came and got his son.
Yeah, and then he was gonna kick him.
Go
It's
home,
just like,
son.
Like Friday. Get your ass up, boy! I told you. I'm waiting for CM Punk to do the Devo. Well, you want some of this too, old man? No.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I don't think they can't turn Sting or Darby heel. I think they're baby faces for a long time because you can't. Darby's got that size. He's small. All right, so you're always gonna have sympathy for that guy. You know what I mean? What he puts his body through, what he does.
Yeah.
He's a hero.
Yeah, I agree, and I can I'd like to see like eventually an MJF versus CM Punk is smart, but I think I could see now that they've actually got each other. They wrestled each other. I can foresee a Darby Allin and CM Punk taking on a tag team.
2.0.
Yeah, 2.0, right?
I think that's probably going to be on Dynamite at some point.
Yeah, I think that's probably where they're heading to get that. And it's just like, dude, and Punk called it in the scrum, and he was right. It's just like, we literally got Sting, CM Punk, and Darby Allin. That was like 3 generations of wrestling in the ring at the same time.
I like how they're booking CM Punk. I think some people have not been happy with it, but I feel like he came out, he's such a star. He's like reality. He's a shoot hero, and he's slowly getting pulled into the kayfabe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're letting it take its time and seep in, because right now he's just still an attraction. So yeah,
I
I got him
agree.
with Darby. Darby's a great bumper. It's a great match, and now he's slowly getting pulled into this 2.0 angle, which came out of nowhere. 2.0 came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
All of
they
a sudden,
did.
they're on Dynamite every week.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good.
I'm all yeah. I think you're right. The first match we're gonna see CM Punk back is probably gonna be teaming with Darby because
Yeah.
first shoot like Punk said, he's like, if I was a fan, Darby would be my favorite wrestler, and I bet it definitely we have the punk rock vibe going on now with Ruby and Punk, and Darby. So I do feel like they're going to team up together. What do you think of the vignette of Darby carrying the body bag of the best in the world, and then he just jumped past him?
Yeah, he jumped. I don't know if he. Well, I think you were alluding that he was, bumping him, but it was cool. Honestly, like I always just have like editor head, and I'm just thinking like, wow, did they let him run a helicopter to shoot this? That's pretty cool. I was thinking about how they did it, but I mean, it's fine. His films are good.
Yeah, no, it was so good. So overall, thumbs up on that. Next match is just like, so we weren't going to go in the main event. You were going to have the help the fans get reaccumulated, and just bring them down a little bit because it's a roller coaster ride. It's not stay up the whole time.
Yeah.
And that is a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's always hard because you still want to go out there and steal the show. But that went to Paul White, No More BS versus QT Marshall, which, man, lean into the bowling shirt. Wear the bowling shirt. We're all have your whole, the factory come out in bowling shirts. I want to see a bowling gang.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, and surprisingly, Jim Ross only called him Big Show once, which is cool. But I mean, I think he's going to have a harder time with.
He called Ruby Soho Ruby Riot as well.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think Brian is going to be the toughest one because of that name
Yeah.
flip.
But you can just call him Brian, right?
Yeah, just stick with
Or
Brian.
Just say Brian. That's safe, right?
Yeah, I think just say Brian and that's okay because it's just like, unless you just straight up win American Dragon, but he didn't, I don't think he leaned into that yet. He still just came out as Brian.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, so we had Bowling QT Marshall versus Paul White. And
It's fine. It gave everybody time to go to the bathroom and
Yeah.
get snacks. I mean,
But which is tough because like you have a basically Big Show's debut match in
Yeah.
AEW that's coming somewhat of a cooler match, right? Or just like to cool people off.
Yeah.
And QT is, he's a pretty decent heel,
Yeah.
right? He's a pretty decent heel, and you wanted to see. I was curious to see how Paul White was going to do in the ring because not all there's not a ton of big guys in AEW.
not that size, no.
Yeah, and that was always my, thing is just like signing Braun Strowman could be rough.
Yeah.
Which shout out to that on Impact if his name's really could be Titan. Good call. I like that. But
I think it's common.
yeah, so I don't know. It was still a good match. There was no problem with the match, but it was just they were in a really awkward position of just like having to be the cooler on that. But
I thought it was fine. I liked the angle, the build to it. Obviously, Big Show still wants to do some matches.
yeah,
I don't think we're going to see Mark Henry in any matches, but I feel like Big Show still wants to do some stuff. Give him a shot.
it was 3 minutes. It was a 3 minute match.
minutes. Give him a story. I guess he's going to have. We've got because Billy Gunn turned on him on Rampage, but it was fine. I had no problem with it.
I you know how it seems like they're getting all this like mentorship, like they're having like these legends with like mentoring this. I'd like to see Big Show go with, I know he already has Jake, but I'd like to see Murder Hawk with Big Show maybe.
Think so?
Like,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean those are two big guys, right?
Yeah.
I feel like and having Jake going in there, I think that would be a pretty decent I'd like to see them have a run.
I feel like some of these guys got some backstage jobs too, right? They're coaching, they're training,
They're absolutely, yeah.
they're helping. Because I mean, AEW doesn't have like a performance center or anything like that,
No,
but
they
they've got to have. Surely they've got some pros in the back that are coaching folks and giving them pointers, helping their people, work because they have taken a lot of people. Most of their people have like come in with no TV experience.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no doubt that this is what these guys are doing. Is definitely mentoring a lot of these guys because they got Arn, they got freaking Dean Malenko back there.
Yeah,
and I thought it was funny.
Isn't he the director?
Yeah, he's definitely up there and
Yeah.
the man of 1,000 holds, right?
Yeah, he's also a director.
Yeah, he's also a director. Who knew? But I thought it was strange during the scrum that
Speaking of directing, their production's gotten better.
they are.
Have you noticed?
Yeah,
except for the battle royale where they were missing a lot of shots, it's looking good.
Yeah, I think they have to figure that what that looks like so you're not missing spots. But okay.
I cut you off. You were talking about the scrum.
Oh no, the scrum that is just like Tony Khan said he was the agent for one of the matches, which I thought was just like, oh man, it's just like, but he's talking about how infectious he is. But usually it is like a former wrestler that's an agent for one of these matches. But I mean, if you're paying, and it's just like, and I got no complaints, right? It's just like, hey, if you're doing a good enough job, because in the end, the AEW fans seem happy. And it's just like
everyone seems happy.
Yeah,
dude.
I see.
It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory in there.
Yeah, the wrestlers are happy.
Again, I never heard nobody gush like Ruby Riott did. She was so excited to be in AEW.
And it's just like, just if it's working, let them be happy. And just let it be the alternative. If it's not going to be like WWE, it's like, here's something you can be a fan of both.
Yeah.
Like we are here. Just like, if something doesn't work, we'll let them know if something didn't work. Our very first Lost podcast, what didn't work was the exploding barbed wire match. We'll post that up there soon, but it's just like, that didn't work.
Well, guess what? I bought that shirt anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it didn't work.
So, I mean, I look, you can talk about both. And in some cases, some things work, some things don't. But AEW seems to be firing on all cylinders with this one, because we went into the main event right now. We had Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage. I wasn't sure about this match at first, because it's just like, again, Christian, but they did the right thing by having Christian go over and take the Impact title and just make him feel like he really is a threat.
I like what they're, I mean, I know maybe Christian, I think he was bored. He was iffy as a choice, right, to go up against Kenny Omega, but I like what they've been doing with him. I think he's great in the ring. When I saw him live against Matt Hardy at the one that came through town.
Oh, yep.
It was so great to watch that from the seats, because you can really, they're so talented in telling the story physically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you get to live wrestling, you don't have the commentary, and it's kind of like, it's a different experience.
You have to tell a story and not have the announcers there to tell. So you still, and even when you're doing a TV match, you kind of have to have that too. And the announcers are supposed to be helping with that, right? To help enhance that. So I do like what I thought was a good angle that they were doing with Christian Cage, is they were involving, and made it real. Like Don Callis, Christian Cage, Kenny Omega, those are all Canadian guys, right? And they had some legit like Winnipeg footage of like when Don Callis booked Christian Cage in like his first match.
Oh yeah.
And so I do like that part of it, that you can tell it's just like, it's like a Canadian family feud.
Yeah.
That it was going in there. So that part works for me as well. But the match, you knew Kenny Omega was going over. I didn't think there was any danger of Christian winning the second title. I just don't think.
I don't. It's they're making Christian look strong. And he's gonna go over to Impact and do some matches over there. Puts people over there. Great. It's beautiful. It's just like harmony.
Yeah, and it worked out perfectly. So, but then the most important part of this, because they went about. I mean, they still went 20 minutes, and Christian can still go. Yeah. Right. He can definitely still wrestle, and obviously Kenny can go. I cringed a little bit, because I know Christian had some. I know Edge had neck issues. I wasn't sure if Christian had neck issues too. So taking those dragon whip suplexes that Kenny throws, man, those are scary. And he did a couple of when he did that double angel wing off the top rope. I flinched on that one too, because I was just like, oh man, don't screw this up. So, but as expected, Kenny Omega went over. Very awkward on the mic, the awkward heel. And he was just started saying some weird stuff.
What do you think of his new dyed hair?
I thought that was funny. Again, it's just like he's the awkward heel, and I never thought that would be so make him perfect as a heel. And then he's so on the mic, it's like, nobody can beat me, because if the only people that can beat me are already tired or already dead.
Right.
I was just like, what? Where did that come from? That's like such a strange thing.
Well, you know what that's in reference to, right? Oh, by the way, JJ says Christian did have concussion issues.
Oh, yes.
But like that's in reference to, apparently Adam Cole used to be on Being the Elite or something like that. And they killed him off on the show.
Oh, okay.
They killed him off when he went to NXT.
Damn it, that's why I didn't have an insider joke.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that was his way of doing a little bit of a hint of that was about to go.
Yeah.
What was about to happen. And I love that they did the cut the lights off gimmick, because I feel like they haven't done that yet.
Sure.
And then Adam Cole's music sounded similar enough. He sounded like a mix of his music, and then basically when Jericho showed up on Raw that time to confront Rock. And I thought that worked really well.
That music was awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna find that track because I want to hear it again.
Yeah, the music was great. Right away, his graphic on the screen said Adam Cole, so there was no question about who was going to come out. And guess what? At that point, if that's all they would have done, they could have ended the pay-per-view on that, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Like he went in and man, he got a huge Adam Cole baby, simulated chant that happened at the same time. I thought that was great. It was like, wow, that was way over. And then the swerve. Did you see the swerve coming? I didn't see the swerve coming.
I did not. But then it occurred to me that they all used to be in Bullet Club together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but I still, like, for some reason, I had forgotten about it. I'm so used to him in NXT with the Undisputed Era. So for him to come out and just get such a huge baby face pop with Adam Cole, baby, but then all of a sudden they do the double cheek kiss and he's just like, I'm not scared, we were friends. I was like, it's good to feel like a straight up fan again, and it's just like, wow, I fell for it. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, when he super kicked Jungle Boy, it's like, what?
Oh yeah, he just like kicked his head and it's just like, man, that was awesome.
And then he takes the mic and is immediately Adam Cole.
Oh yeah.
There was no learning curve. There was no nothing. Did you see when he did the Adam Cole baby? The crowd was just with him immediately.
Oh yeah.
Just like perfect. And he takes that mic and like, I never watched NXT. I'm not the biggest NXT mark, especially lately, but the way he just grabbed that mic and immediately became Adam Cole in AEW was like, wow.
Oh, it was perfect. It was perfectly executed. And just say the Elite is the most, dangerous faction in all of wrestling, because now it's just like, to me, that's solidified, because they never officially said we're the Elite. It's just all of a sudden, the Good Brothers started coming out with them and the Young Bucks are coming out, and we knew, the Young Bucks and Omega were a team, but it's just like the rest kind of just gone together, and it's just like this. So, and they never officially said we're not the Bullet Club anymore, we're the Elite. So I feel like this was like a huge stamp of just like, boom, not on the level of like, Hogan saying this is the new world order, but the same energy of just like this is the most elite faction in there. Mm-hmm. And some people were comparing and they're saying, no, it was different. Some people are saying this is better than when Hogan did the run in and turned heel. I was just like, but Hogan turning heel was iconic, but this had that same energy of just like, AEW is the real deal and the Elite is an elite faction, and it just like, you felt that.
Yeah.
And again, it had another moment, like they could have ended the show right there. Mm-hmm. And then they didn't. And then you had the beginnings of the flight of the Valkyries, right? And just the beginnings. So, and it was cool. There's just like, maybe he wanted to do a little bit of the music, but people knew right away, because they were already chanting yes, yes, yes when Adam Cole came out, and they thought it was going to do that. And
that was a nice swerve. This whole ending worked on so many levels.
Oh yeah, no, it really did. And so having Brian come out, I did notice he didn't want to do the yes. He did the side shuffle to the ring, but he didn't do the arms.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're trying to get away from the yes.
He seems to be in the media scrum. He said something about he wasn't totally sure of the legalities of him doing it, but he can't stop the crowd from doing it.
Yeah.
He seems to be. He says he has a great relationship with Vince and WWE, so I think he's trying to be very respectful of their IP if it's a thing.
Yeah, because he did the on the mic on the show after the cameras roll. He said, "I know I'm going to get booed, but I loved where I worked before." And he gave the 3 reasons why he came anyway.
His new music was awesome because he came out to it's the Flight of the Valkyries, but they dropped the electric guitar and they put in like bass.
Yeah, I did.
So he came out like a badass.
So
and he got physical immediately. I love that.
Yeah, no, he was right in there, like you said. He looked like that was old school American Dragon.
Yeah,
he's there to fight.
Because I thought it was funny because I was thinking about this after I talked about it. Punk coming back took a little bit of a build to it. We had to see if he's coming back with ring rust. It was a big, reveal to see how it was going to go. Brian comes out. He looks immediately like a huge threat.
Oh, yeah, like right out of the gate. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's just like, okay, this guy could be taking the belt from Kenny Omega, and it would make sense if he took it right away. Not that you want to make him Hogan, where it's just like, my first match back, I'm going to go over and get the belt right away. But they're close that they could do it, and the crowd would be okay with it.
Probably go for it, yeah. I think, and that would also elevate the belt even more. But, like, I think that, man, in that media scrum, he just seemed like a different person to me.
Yeah.
It was him off leash. And did you hear when he goes, he's like, CM Punk said you want to come back to like, help the young guys. Is like, I'm here to kick the shit out of some people. You know, I was like, he just seems different. Like he's coming in as a legitimate, badass. He always seemed like a nice guy in WWE.
Oh yeah, no, that I think they kind of leaned into that the more of the gimmick of it. But you remember, he used to be, you're either going to tap or you're going to snap.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're getting that American Dragon.
Yeah.
My old partner actually had the pleasure of working some of those early matches with Brian,
right,
at Sean School here in San Antonio, and he said Brian always, even back in the day, I mean, these were some of his first matches, always loved working strong style. Like he loves to get hit hard, and he loves to hit hard, and I think that's why he always had legit heat with Miz, because Miz had that WWE style, where Brian always had that. Now I think we're going to see old Ring of Honor indie Brian, American Dragon, and you're going to see some hard hitting matches. My question to you or anybody out there listening is, was this too much? Like, I mean, they're going to be at Arthur Ashe in New York, right, in Queens, for a show. Like, was this too much? I think they could have got away with just doing the Adam Cole and stopping and then having Brian debut for a ratings pop. But they're clearly not. They have something else in mind. But are you okay with having, everybody loves it. This is a thumbs up pay-per-view, but are you okay with getting so much in one night?
I'm 100% okay with it.
Okay.
I can see from a storytelling standpoint and even from a business standpoint why it would seem like a bad idea, but I think that this is, Tony Khan's taking a different train of thought here. And what is essentially, he's added, like, imagine this, okay? Your local basketball team or whatever, all of a sudden cops 3 top players all at once.
Yeah.
It's just huge, and I think it draws way more attention than stretching it out. And immediately, I think it's a huge boost, and people are going to be like tuning in to see what happened, what's going on, and it elevates their product so much that I think it works.
They use their BFG, right? For lack of a better term, they use their BFG. They blew the doors off.
Yeah.
And now they have a ton of momentum, and they have to maintain that momentum. I think, JJ was saying that, he was cool with Ruby Soho and Adam Cole. I thought that was enough, but I kind of lean towards they could have delayed Brian, and they could have had that do the same thing to get a pop. But it didn't happen. It's too late. Here's how, we're gonna book the territory a little bit, and we're gonna use a little bit of history with it. This is what I would do now for that New York show. That New York show has to be big. You're now in WWE territory. For sure, when you're in New York. I don't care. The 5 boroughs, Connecticut, Jersey, you're in WWE territory.
Yeah.
The way to book this now is to go back to do the same way that they booked Goldberg. They're like, what are we going to do? Goldberg is going to fight Hulk Hogan at the Georgia Dome because we need a big pop. I think now, personally, I would book Daniel to fight Omega in New York for the title, with the idea that Daniel might go over and get the title and hope to replicate that Yeselmania moment where the crowd's going to pop big. And I almost think, again, me, I'm always for let these people hold the belt a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I kind of think, in a way, Daniel might have to go over and take the belt that fast.
Yeah.
Just to get that pop to hold that momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And just, and you can have Kenny come back and say, wait a minute, he showed up out of nowhere. I wasn't ready. Because that's only like 2 weeks away, right?
Yeah. I think that's great. I think that's a great idea, because the fact being that they brought in so much at once.
Right.
They have to book it like they got a lot at once.
Yeah.
And they've got to, I mean, the Elite is forming its faction. It's expanded. It's its own thing now. Daniel Bryan coming in and taking the belt, the crowd would be into it. It would be believable. And then all of a sudden, he's got the belt, and who's with him? Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, all these other guys that need a rub,
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome.
I think he has, that's how I would book it. I would book Bryan versus Kenny, and Bryan goes over for the belt to get that huge New York pop. They must already be sold out.
I think so.
They have to be sold out already, and that's a huge stadium there.
Yeah.
So on TV, that's going to look beautiful.
If it's not sold out, they're selling it out now. But I think that's a great idea.
And that could be as for, again, I hate to book it like Hogan because I know you get a lot of heat for it right now, and it could come off as like hotshot booking of just like trying to just get that pop. But I think they have to do something to maintain the momentum, because now if Daniel comes in, if Brian comes in and takes the belt, and now you got to wonder what's going to happen next.
Right.
It's just like now you can have a bunch of other matches thrown in there, because now you could throw in MJF could take the advantage of try to get him, and I keep throwing his name out there. He can go in this, like, now is my chance to take the belt. Kenny going back for a rematch can take the belt. I think that's going to add a lot more strange dynamics. Or you can throw in Adam Cole now. It's just like, because now he could go for the belt, because he can't go for the belt, because he said it in the scrum. It's like, I'm fighting everybody except the Elite, because the Elite are my friends.
Yeah.
So now if if Brian has the belt, now I know it's just like, don't clown on Jim Ross. It's not easy to get used to these guys we've been seeing on TV. If Brian has the belt, that opens up a lot more of those heels trying to get the belt from him.
Yeah.
Because in the end, you need to see the chase. The chase is important. If you just think that, you just keep throwing these guys and they have no chance of winning the belt, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's early 90s Hogan WCW, just like keep throwing these monsters, but none of them are really going to take this belt. Where this is just like, okay.
No, because if Brian goes for the belt, you think he can definitely win it.
Yeah, and I think he can win it. And and I don't think Brian has any problems putting anyone over. Yeah. But I just think that
it wouldn't make sense.
You got to pop that big crowd. You got to pop that New York crowd. And even if that sets up for a rematch in full gear, at full gear, and they win it back, I think you need to pop the New York crowd. And that's all I can think of. It's just like, because you're out of surprises for now.
Yeah.
Right. There's no more big surprises that are going to come. And even if they were, you just can't do too much at once. So it's just like, if Wyndham is really coming, save that for the winter. I think you just need to a belt change like that would pop that crowd big.
So what if, say that happens, say they go that direction, what happens to Adam Page then?
If Brian gets the belt?
Yeah.
Now it makes it literally like you can have some weird dynamic of just like, even if you're is Kenny going to go after a rematch, and then Adam Cole could be like, well, I'm here now, so maybe I should try to get it. Maybe I should hold it. And you can have that weird, who's going to do it? And you can have some awesome three-way dances with those three. Yeah. Those three are, because Adam Cole and Brian had some great matches on WWE. Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan and Ring of Honor had some great matches, including the thumb wrestling match.
I don't remember that one.
YouTube that. It's just like when they went to lock up and they actually turned it into a thumb wrestling match. So I think it just opens up a lot of opportunities to do that. Just to have them fighting over that and elevate that belt.
Well, I'm talking about Hangman Page.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Hangman Page. He's on a break.
Oh,
he was on course to take that belt from Omega, I think.
Oh, you're right.
So now that if Daniel Bryan takes the belt, which I think is total believable booking, where does he fit in? Does he come back with a sort of like babyface versus babyface kind of a match thing, or what?
All right, yeah. If we're booking the territory, right? So now you're just like, okay, say Bryan does get the belt.
Yeah.
Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page. Damn it, Adam Cole, Adam Page. There's a lot of pages and cages there too.
Yeah.
Page.
Page. There's multiple.
Rampage, but now we got a couple Adams.
Yeah.
I think you play up that he was also part of the Elite, and if he's part of that, whether it's a fatal four-way or triple threat, you can be. Whose side are you really on? Yeah. Do you really have this much heat with your former tag team champion that you're going to let this newcomer come in here in the territory that we helped build, and you're going to let him take the belt?
Yeah.
Or are you going to be greedy and you try to take yourself? Or why don't you help me? Or you can have Kenny like, I'll help you get the belt. We just got to get it off Brian. I think they would play that of just like, we're not sure where Adam's loyalty really lies. Yeah. And look, he's the anti-hero. He's going to go in there and just like, I'm for myself. I'm going to drink my whiskey and I'm going to beat whoever has that belt.
Yeah.
So, but they can toy with that a little bit. I think that does, because you're right. I mean, I feel like he was the next one that needed that title rub to get that. And I even think that Bryan could have a legit babyface match with Hangman Adam Page.
I think so too.
I think that could happen.
Yeah, I think they could come back and book that.
Oh, but no finger pokes of dooms. You can't have the finger poke of doom.
So that'll be interesting. But again, I mean, what they have unlimited options. It's just like when you were a kid, you dump all your toys out on the floor, and it's just like, wow, you can have so many combinations of things going on.
Tony Khan definitely has all his LGNs spilled out on the floor.
Yeah,
and he's fantasy booking, but just I don't want to ever see again. I'm sticking to this, Tony Khan. Keep doing what you're doing. Just don't book yourself. Don't book yourself.
Don't book yourself to win the belt.
Don't book yourself because he's a great. I mean, he has that weird cackle that he does, and he hypes up the live crowd. He's great at making sure that they realize who's the stars there. And
you see how in the scrums he calls CM Punk Mr. Punk.
Mr. Punk, yeah. I just love Tony Khan as Tony Khan.
Yeah.
And just keep going out there as just leave it as a shoot. That he's just like everyone knows that he's he's in charge, and he just keeps doing that, and leave it very Jack Tunney, old WWE or Grant Monsoon as the president, except for a shoot.
President
you are in charge. But I never want to see heel Tony Khan, because guess what? Right now in the internet wrestling community and the wrestling world, he is the ultimate babyface. He's the ultimate babyface for a shoot that he's basically like, we're the alternative to the company that doesn't give you what you want. Yeah. What are we going to do? We're going to give you everything that you want with your favorite people, to the point where just like people are leaving the company to come here, and they, even if it was a pay cut there, you can just tell that people would take a pay cut.
They love their jobs.
Yeah, that they're actually loving it again.
I mean, you see Sammy Guevara's blog and the things they're filming behind the scenes and all the little sketches and stuff. It's just like, just seems like such a fun place to work.
Oh, it really is. And it's just like, man, and it's amazing to think that there was a lot of people not on this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And Sammy Guevara included.
Yeah.
It's just like, these are homegrown talents that are still like uber over, like mega over. It's
my God, have we said, what about CM Punk and Sammy Guevara?
Oh yeah, and that is on his list, right? Yeah. That I think that would be a great match. I'm gonna call this just like it's very dangerous to have too many belts.
Yeah.
But we already talked about, I'm with you. I don't think they're ready for a women's tag belt, but I think they're ready for a women's TNT belt.
Yeah.
But I do want to see a trios belt. I want to see I think it would work there.
A trios belt.
Yeah, I think a trios champion.
Okay.
I think that would work there, because that gives 3 more people something to do when they can't figure out the personal issues, and they got enough factions that they can pull it off. And dude, imagine the Freebird rule. Gato, what's up, Podcat?
Podcat's here.
Yeah, Podcat is here. Imagine the Freebird rule with the Dark Order.
Yeah,
that's incredible. I mean, that's right there. You can have so many different angles can do that. Gato.
What about a trios belt? That's interesting. I guess they used to have that on Lucha Underground, right?
Yeah, they did have a trios belt.
That could be interesting. They definitely got a lot of guys on there. What do you feel about some sort? I mean, are you a fan of the WWE sort of like Money in the Bank gimmicks and things like that?
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah,
I love just
so maybe something like that where you do some sort of like opportunity to challenge for the belt.
Yeah, I call it just like it could be just like the genie lamp or something that you can just will grant you a wish.
Yeah,
you get your one wish. And I think again, I want to expand it, or just not even be the ultimate. Okay, I've tried to book this before when we were running shows back there, but I'm going to give this one out free to the Twitch universe, and you can call Tony Khan and tell him to do it. It's the wish list, where basically you get to grant one wish. It's the same thing as the Money in the Bank, but think of this as just like, it doesn't always have to be a title match, right? I just like, okay, I want to go on a date with Jade Cargill, and they film that, right? Or just like, what do you want? It's just like, I want to be on the Elite blog, or I just want to, I just want to raise. I mean, every month they can make it something different of the wish, not just like automatically it's good for a title belt. It's just good for one wish, and Tony Khan is the genie with the forbidden door. It's just like, this. Oh, that would be it.
Make
this is the key to the forbidden door.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you win this key, and I will grant you one wish, and you have 30 days to decide, and that way they can keep.
Oh yeah, 30 days to decide what your wish is.
Yeah, and you just can keep cycling it, right? And just like, of course, it can be a pay-per-view, or how cool would it be? It's just like, I want to be a part of the Jurassic Express, and I just want to come out dressed up and pretend I'm a freaking Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Just for a night. I think they can play with that really well, and it gives the other guys, like, I understand the reasoning behind the 24/7 belt, and they definitely make it a little bit, but it gives other people TV time, but I want it to be a little bit more serious, like, because sometimes it is going to be like, I want to capitalize on this, and some people are going to go for a title match for that, just to have it something different every time. So TK, call us on the Dos Incredibles hotline here in Dos Incredibles Studios.
You got the number. You have the number.
Yes, and it's just like, and if you ever want to be on a Dos Incredibles house show just like this, just let us know and just give us a call. But AEW, they definitely, it was a ball out on All Out. Thumbs up. If you haven't rented the pay-per-view yet, even though we told you everything that just happened, you can still rent it and be happy and really enjoy that.
You might get a discount, I think, for renting it late. So
yeah, just put in the promo code Dos Incredibles Network.
Or you know what? If you're you get charged full price.
Yeah, you get charged full price.
All right, we can't end it like that because it's not a podcast.
We can't. Yeah, we can't end it like that, can we? Yeah, we're always waiting for
All right, let's do some outro music.
Yeah. Outro music is
been an excellent stream, I think. Successful.
Yeah. Huge success. So thank you for Twitch. So don't forget to follow us on all kinds of social on there, not just Twitch, but you're going to hear this on our Anchor podcast, which is going to blast out to Spotify. It's going to blast out to Apple. So if you ever want to join the conversation, let us know.
Yeah.
But we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter. We're very active on Twitter. That's probably where we're most active on there.
Probably so.
Yeah, but we're not just talking. We love, obviously, we're huge fans of wrestling. It was my life since I was little, and then I was in it, and then I'm out of it, and I feel like this is a way of bringing us back in it. We're obviously big fans of Lucha, but we're also going to be talking about horror movies on here, and we're going to be doing some gaming. So we're actually going to be back here on Wednesday, but we're going to do some gaming, right? Because we do respect Twitch. Last week we had a very successful pro wrestling with Starman.
Some Nintendo classic gaming.
Yes, we will do that.
I think we're going to do some retro gaming because I think those are the only games I could probably play successfully.
Well, we are going to do the Evil Dead game. I think that's going to be our branch now. And Friday the 13th, we're a big fan of that franchise. I think we'll game it. But I think this week we're thinking Punch Out.
All right.
Right? I think we're thinking Punch. It's not the Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Let's do some Punch. It's not Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
No, it's not the Mike Tyson Punch Out.
No license. That's
but
right.
we still got King.
He only got paid like $20.
That's right. But we still got Glass Joe. We got King Hippo. We got the Macho Man knockoff that's on there. We got Genie, so it's going to be fun. So, yeah, Jay, and maybe we can get JJ to throw out some game suggestions out there for us.
We got that Nintendo Classic. Yeah. All right, we'll be back Wednesday.
All right, yeah, we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.